I really need to let this out. I can't bear to live with what happened that night anymore. Every time, every time I close my eyes, I can see death in her eyes and malice in his. I just recently moved out to Scotland with my fiance. We had moved to a beautiful town in the north called Elgin. We were 2 weeks in, everything was going well, we had settled in just fine. We thought we were going to live a long, happy life there. How we were wrong. On the third week, strange things started happening to us on the night that would change our lives. My fiance received a phone call at 4 a.m. A strange time for anyone to receive a phone call. She looked up, blinded but unlikely no mobile, and answered with a tired hello. This was followed by more hello, and then she hung up. She said she could only hear a very faint screaming noise in the background of the phone. Unsettled, she turned her phone off so she would not receive another phone call. 5 minutes later, I received a phone call. This time it was pure static we could hear. It was laughing in the background. I immediately got very angry with this disturbing game someone was playing with us. I cursed and told them to stop phoning. After that, the static stopped. After that, all I heard was a huge bang on the front door. We both jumped. She clutched onto me, crying, terrified. I told her everything was going to be alright. I got up, told her to stay there. I put on my dressing gown and grabbed the bat and walked to the front door. Pulled the curtain covering the window of the door to find a message. The message read, "You shouldn't have left her alone." As soon as I'd finished reading it, I heard screaming coming from upstairs. I immediately ran up the stairs like a cheetah on all fours to find myself frozen at the entrance of our bedroom. There my wife was standing, blood dripping from her neck, looking right into my eyes, sobbing for me to help. And there was that thing behind you. The fucking thing that ruined my fucking life. It was a tall, completely naked creature, humanoid in shape. It was completely bald and had very scary limbs. You could almost see its bones. Its face was the most horrendous thing I'd ever seen in my life. It had a huge smile on its face, stretching right across, and had completely bloodshot eyes. One significantly smaller than the other. I'd never felt this feeling before. I couldn't do anything. I was literally frozen. I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even say how sorry I was. All I could do was cry. The creature slowly crept towards me, with my fiancé in his clutches. His face came down to my height, and he looked right in my eyes. At this point he started to scream. However, all that came out of his mouth was a static. Kind of static you get when you can't find no signal on an old radio. I was terrified. He ran back very quickly to the window and jumped out with her. As soon as he left the building, I fell to the ground. I jumped up to look outside to see if I could see her with it, but they were nowhere to be seen. 2 days later, I was a wreck. I hadn't slept. I'd just been researching to see if anyone knew what this was, if anyone had ever related to me. I'd filled a missing person report at the local police station. Was it extensively investigating the disappearance? Nobody had ever heard of this thing that I'd seen that night. A month had gone by, nothing had happened. I hadn't been working, I had barely slept. I could barely live anymore. I took a razor blade to my wrist As the blood seeped out from my wound, I felt like all the pain and the past events was flowing away. I looked up from the bathroom sink in the mirror. He was there, smiling just like before. Blood dripped from his eyes as he held my fiancee's head up, severed from the body. Again, he screamed a static noise, and I fell to the floor. I felt my body growing weak as my wrist bled. I was terrified to look in the mirror, but I felt like I had to. As I slowly rose from the ground, my reflection matched his. I was looking right into his eyes, where my eyes should have been, where my bloody shaved. My body should have been. I slowly raised my hand, and in reflection I was holding her head. As I looked to the right of my hand, there it was. I was holding my wife's head. I screamed and dropped it, but my screams were static. As the blood began running thick and black, I knew I was coming close to the end. I felt my body going cold. Surely I couldn't have killed my fiancée. Surely not. I fell asleep. I woke up in a hospital bed, confused, wrists bandaged. As I woke, 2 policemen walked into the room and they told me they had some questions for me. They told me her head was found in my house, and that I was not going to go anywhere for a while. They told me to rest, and that they would come back later. As they walked out of the room, one of them turned around and said, "Oh, one last thing." His mouth then opened incredibly wide, and the sound that filled the room was pure static.